والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to another talk, MSA talk on the stories told by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And today, inshallah, we'll be looking at the story of the man who borrowed 1,000 gold coins. This is a story about the dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to keep one's promise or trust, inshallah. So without further ado, let's go into the story. And like always, the story, the hadith, the text is in front of you, but I will be explaining it as I go along, inshallah. So it was narrated on the authority of Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, that the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings be upon him, said that a man from Banu Israel asked another man from Banu Israel to lend him 1,000 dinars. So the latter said, so of course this is 1,000 gold coins. A dinar is a gold coin. So this is 1,000 gold coins. And of course, a person who's going to lend you that amount of money will want witnesses. And the witnesses here is to say that I gave you 1,000. I did not give you 500. I did not give you 100 gold coins, but I gave you 1,000. So the latter, meaning the one that's going to lend the money, he wants witnesses to witness this transaction. He, the former, said, meaning the one that wants to borrow the money, he replied, Allah is sufficient as a witness. So you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my witness. I don't need anyone else as a witness to witness this. And Allah is sufficient for both of us to witness that this transaction is going through now. Meaning that you're going to lend me 1,000 gold coins. He, the latter, meaning the one that's going to lend, he said, I want a surety. The surety is a guarantor, someone that will be there in case this person cannot pay. So if he cannot pay the money, then you'll get it from someone else. So there has to be someone that, will say, no problem. If the person cannot pay, I'll pay on behalf of him. As someone that will stand as surety. So the former replied, Allah is sufficient as surety. Meaning that Allah alone is sufficient. We don't need someone else to stand on behalf of me, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will be there if all else fails. He, the latter, said, you are right. Meaning the one that's going to lend him the money now. And lent him the money for a certain time period. So they agreed on a certain time period. When a period elapses, he has to repay the money. He has to pay back the money. And it shows you the character of these two individuals. You find the one individual, he was a righteous person. He gave people money, he loaned them money, lent them money, and it's not easy to, subhanAllah, to lend someone money. There's no interest going on here. He doesn't get anything more back. He gets the same amount of money back. But he might need the money, but he's still giving it to someone else. And it's not a small amount of money, it's a large amount of money. And there's no witnesses, there's no individual that will be standing as surety, but yet he gives it to the person. And it shows you, it might be that the one that wants to borrow the money, he might be a person that has good standing among people. That shows you if you have good character and you're known as a trustworthy person, people will trust you. So it's very important to know these things. So you find that individuals, have the one that is the lender and the one that is the borrower. Okay, so what happens? So remember they agreed on a time period whereby the borrower has to give back the money to the lender. And the borrower, he did not give any witness. He never brought any witnesses and no surety. And the lender, he just said, that's okay, you're right, Allah is the surety. and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the witness. So what happens? The borrower went across the sea. When he finished his job, he searched for a ship so that he might reach in time for the repayment of the debt, but he could not find any. So he went and done his business. He went to wherever he went on ship. He went out. He's no longer on the country where the lender is. So he's gone. He's far away. He's overseas. But the time has come that he has to now pay. So he has to go back to where he came from in order to repay the debt. Whatever he took from the person, he has to give it because they agreed on a certain time period that he has to pay back. But he couldn't find any. So he couldn't find any ships. No ships was going to the place where he came from. So he took a piece of wood and made a hole in it. Inserted in it 1,000 dinars, meaning 1,000 gold coins, and a letter to the lender, and then closed it, i.e. sealed the hole tightly. He took a piece of wood to the sea and said, "O Allah, you know well that I borrowed 1,000 dinars from so-and-so. He demanded a surety from me, but I told him that Allah was sufficient as surety, and he accepted your surety. He then asked for a witness, and I told him that Allah was sufficient as a witness, and he accepted you as the witness. No doubt, I tried hard to find a ship so that I could pay his money, but could not find. So I hand over this money to you." What is this? We've done this before. We've done this when we were speaking about tawassul. We're speaking about those three individuals who sought shelter in the cave. We spoke about this. You are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, and you are mentioning your situation that you are in order for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you that. So he's asking Allah. This is dua he makes with Allah. And one might think he's a mad person because, who would have, later on we'll see, okay. So what happens? I'll speak about that now. Saying that, after making a dua, he threw the piece of wood into the sea till it went out far into it. And then he went away. So one might think he's a mad person. He takes, a piece of wood, makes a hole in that wood. He puts 1,000 gold coins, 1,000 dinars into this wood, and he seals it, and then he throws it into the sea. This person probably stays a few, kilometers or 1,000 kilometers far away because he needed a ship to go to that individual. Will this wood actually travel all that distance? And if it travels all that distance, will that man actually pick it up and get it? So there's a lot of variables at play here. Will the waves break that piece of wood, and the money will sink to the bottom of the ocean? There's a lot of things going on here. Will that man come out in time to actually just see that there's a piece of wood there? Will somebody else take that? If he sees that wood there, will he actually take the wood and actually break it open to see the money? So there's a lot of things going on here. But what you take from this is, what happened? He placed his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because who did he make? Who did this person make as surety? He made Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who witnessed this? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So who will help him out? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But he done something. He done all what he could. He was looking and couldn't find anything. So he done that. But after that, after he placed the money into the wood and he threw it into the ocean, into the sea, he still went on to find a way to the lender's country. So it depended on he's still doing his part. He's still taking the means in order to give the money to that lender. He did not just say, okay, that's enough. No, he's still looking for means to give the money to the lender. So one day the lender came out of his house to see whether a ship had arrived bringing his money. And all of a sudden he saw the piece of wood in which his money had been placed. He did not know that there's money in that piece of wood. It said inside it. Shortly after that, the borrower came bringing 1,000 dinars to him and said, "By Allah, I had been trying hard to get a ship so that I could bring your money, but failed to get one before the one I have come by." The lender asked, "Have you sent something to me?" The borrower replied, "I have told you I could not get a ship other than the one I have come by." The lender said, "Allah has delivered on your behalf the money you sent in a piece of wood, so you may keep your 1,000 dinars and the borrower with another 1,000 dinars in case that wood did not reach the lender." So he made sure that he's actually getting this individual money. And it shows you the character of the one that actually lent. But it shows his character. He done this for reward. He wants reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a righteous person. People will not just loan you money and they don't give you the money without wanting something in return. Either some people will want what? Interest in return. I want something better in return. But this individual, he done it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sake. And as we do the benefits, we'll see the benefits for giving loans to people. So this was a very short story, but it shows you the dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things easy for you. And it shows us that we should keep our promises. We shall, if we tell someone that we will give the money to the person in a certain time period, we will trust promises. This hadith is found in Bukhari. Okay, so benefits derived from this hadith. Number one, the presence of pious people in the nations before us. We always think of people before us in the nations before us and the prophets before us. We think of them as evil, but they were good people. No, those who followed the prophets before, no, they were pious people among them. And we'll find, and we saw in this hadith, one of the two men used to lend money to the people, wanting reward from Allah, and he was pleased with Allah being surety and a witness. And some people say, no, get me a witness, get me someone as surety for you. If you could, this person, he knew that this person needed money and could not, find anyone that was as surety, so he gave it to that individual. He saw the need, this person needs that. Shows you the quality, the character of the one that lent him the money. And the other of the two men kept the trust to repay his money to the lender. And we saw all that difficulty, hardship, trying to find a ship, and then afterwards making a hole, and all those things, and throwing the wood into the ocean, and then afterwards still coming back, and all that. It shows you the piety they had, the character they had, what kind of individuals they are. Benefits derived from this hadith. Number two, permissibility of lending money to the one who needs it if one is sure and has trust that such person will pay it back his debt. So you can lend money to anyone. You don't need to, ask for a witness. You don't need to ask for surety. If you know the person will pay you back, and if you trust any amongst people, and this person is a trustworthy person, this person is a pious person, and you dealt with him before, so it's not compulsory that you have to have a witness. It's not compulsory that you have to have witnesses or surety. You can, actually just give the money to the person and make an agreement between the two people, and inshallah the person will keep to their promise to return the money in a certain time period. Benefits from this hadith. Number three, and surety. This can be more required if people take lightly the matter of paying back debts and delaying any payments. So it's permissible. It's actually commended in certain instances. Some people, they don't want to pay back the debt and these things, and you find sometimes the people, will say that, either you gave them 1,000, but they say you only gave 1,000. So you see in Hadith, there should be neither harming nor reciprocating harm, meaning that you shouldn't put yourself in a position that will harm others, and you shouldn't put yourself in a position that will give harm to you. So if you know that by you just giving, the loan to someone and not having witnesses witnessing that, and not having surety, that harm will become upon you because this person maybe is not a just person, then of course you should do it, because you should not at all try to avoid harm as much as possible. So it's very important. And of course, the one you are loaning the money to, that person, you might as well be unjust to that person to say that you gave the person 500 and now you're saying, but I gave you 1,000. Where's the witnesses? So to have witnesses is actually recommended in Islam. To have witnesses to witness what you give to someone. And now if there's a dispute, you can call the witnesses, and the witness will say, no, but you gave only 500, not 1,000. And if the person does not come back, and this is again recommended in Islam because there should be no harming to any individual, and there should be no harm in return. Benefits derived from this hadith number 4.
Sheikh,
Yes.
Sheikh's mic is a bit. Sometimes it comes in and out. It's a bit slow. How is the connection, Sheikh's side? Is it? I think it's
sure
difficult to hear Sheikh sometimes.
Okay, I'll see what I can do, inshallah.
Because I can still hear Sheikh, but it's sometimes it's lagging and it's difficult to follow. I think others also having the same
problem. Okay, just give me 1 second. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry to stop shaking during the talk.
No problem. Just 1 second. Hold on. Inshallah, hopefully it will work better now. I disconnected some of the devices on the Wi-Fi, so hopefully it will work better, inshallah. Okay, let's continue. So the obligation of repaying debt on its time of okay, so a lot of individuals they will get a sin not to pay on time your debts. Unless the person give you permission and say, okay, no problem, you can pay a bit later. That's okay, but you have to ask. You can't just delay and not inform a person. And if you don't hear from the person, you just not give the person the money. No, you have to make sure that you pay the person on time. The Quran says, oh, you will believe, fulfill your contracts. That's the agreement you have to fulfill that. You have to, stick to your promise. And if you don't, you will be sinning for doing so. That's the reason why the one that borrowed the money, he made sure that he can give that money to the person. He went so far and he took a piece of wood and placed the money into the wood, and then he sent it into the ocean, just to note that you will not be sinning in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can actually say that he's doing something, and he tried his best in whatever he done. So in Qiyamah, you can tell Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he done his best. So it's very important, the obligation of repaying debt on its time of payment. Benefits derived from this hadith number 5. The verb who and help you. As you find in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and whoever depends on Allah, whoever relies on Allah, whoever puts trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then He's sufficient for him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sufficient. What does it mean? We look at the hadith to explain this. Said, I heard the messenger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, if you all depend on Allah with due reliance, like how you ought to depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He would certainly give you provisions as He gives it to birds who go forth hungry in the morning and return with full bellies at dusk. In the mornings, we have millions and billions of birds. You don't find birds just dying on the floor and these things. Every single day they go out, they actually eat. They get their provisions, they get the rizq, and they come back, they have full bodies. SubhanAllah, millions and billions of birds every single day. But what do? They don't sit at home and say, Allah will provide. They go out. So, what is dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You should depend on Allah. You didn't stop there, but you take the means. Like the birds. They go all the way out the mornings with empty stomachs and they come back with full stomachs. They're going out and they're putting in the effort. The means, if you want to get full, you have to eat, you have to find food to get filled. So they're doing the means. And likewise, if you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things easy for you. Like this individual, Allah made it easy. He had depended on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing the means. Benefits derived from this hadith, the difference between tawakkul and tawakkul. You'll find some people, they will have tawakkul and tawakkul. Tawakkul is that what you have to have, depending on Allah by one's heart, while also taking the means to actions to achieve it. Plants need water to grow. So the plant can't grow without water. You have to give water to the plant. You decided to pass. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this world in a cause and effect. Everything in this world has a cause and effect. The cause is what you have to do, the effect is the result of it. If you want the plant to grow, you can't just make dua. You have firm belief in your heart that the plant will grow. You have to water the plant. You have to water the plant. The means. If you want to pass, you can't just make dua, oh Allah, allow me to pass the exam, but you have to pass. Okay, I will just reset the Wi-Fi really quickly. I will have to then log out and I'll come back as soon as possible, inshallah. I'll just do very quickly, so hold on 1 second. It should work better now. It's working better now.
Yes, well, insofar, Sheikh. Yeah, so
okay, alhamdulillah. Hopefully it will continue, inshallah.
inshallah.
Okay. So the difference of tawakkul and tawakkul. We mentioned the difference. Just to repeat this again. Tawakkul is depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one's heart, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will do that for you, but taking the means as well. You have to take the means. You have to water the plant in order for it to grow. You have to pass in order, you have to study in order to pass. And the story of Nabi Musa and Sayyidina Aisha, Sayyidina Maryam. Nabi Musa, when he went to the Red Sea, remember, he took the people, the Banu Israel, the son of Israel, with him. The people all came with him, and they were telling him that, you know, we are doomed. The ocean is in front of us, the Red Sea is in front of us. Why did you not let us stay with Fir'aun, with Pharaoh? Because now if he catch us, he might kill us. When you were with him, it was okay. So his ears, Nabi Musa's ears is saying that they are defeated. His eyes is saying he's defeated because in front of him he's seeing a Red Sea that he can't cross. So what's going to happen? He had dependence on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that he will guide them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided them to safety. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him to do something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nabi Musa to take his staff and hit it onto the ocean. He had to do the means. He had to do something. It never came from nothing. When he struck the ocean, that's when the ocean or the sea opened up. But he had to do that. There was a means involved. Sayyidatuna Maryam, when she was in a state of almost giving birth, she was weak, she needed something to eat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just give her the dates, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered her to shake the palm tree. And if you know, he can be how strong, and he shake a palm tree, no dates will fall down. But she had to do the means. She had to do something, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did the rest. So what we take from this is to depend on Allah, but to do the means as well. To do whatever you can. Nabi Musa, all he could do was hit the Red Sea. That's all he could do. Now, Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam, all she could do was shake as much as he can. Might not have moved in any way, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of that, what she could do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted her that. But then you get something as tawakkul. Tawakkul. Not tawakkul, tawakkul. That is leaving out the means. So a person will make dua for a child, but they don't get married. They ask Allah, Allah grants me a child, but they're not married. How can they, receive a child if they're not married? So you have to do the means in order for you to get the thing. Some people, they're at home and they make dua, Allah grant me sustenance. They don't want to work. And some scholars actually equate tawakkul to laziness. You just ask Allah, but you do the work to get that. So tawakkul is whereby you leave out the means, but you depend on Allah, but you leave out the means. It shouldn't be like that. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made this world with cause and effect. You do the means, you depend on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you do the means. So you have to tie the camel and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the hadith, Anas bin Malik narrated that a man said, "O Messenger of Allah, shall I tie it and rely upon Allah?" Meaning the camel, should I tie the camel and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the camel? Or leave it loose and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Meaning rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but leave it loose. So I rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after my camel. The moment to go away and the camel will not walk away. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Aqilha." Tie it and then rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tie it and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Both the same. Tie it and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you have to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the tie is the action. So you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look after, your car. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, make you pass. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant whatever you want, but you have to do the effort, the means. وَلَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. Man shall have nothing but what he strives for. So if you want something in this world, you have to strive for that in this world. Otherwise, you will not be able to achieve that. Benefits derived from this hadith number 7. Allah will help the one who really wants to fulfill their trust. So if you want to fulfill your trust, fulfill your promise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. Now, the Almighty will reward those who give time to people to repay their debt through preserving their money in this life and giving them great reward in the year after, as Allah preserve the money for the lender. Okay. This is from the hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this is encouragement for a person to loan people money, and if they can't pay, to give them some respite, meaning giving them some more time to repay that money if possible. The hadith was narrated from Hurayra that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever gives respite to the one in difficulty. Now, the one in difficulty is the one that cannot pay back your loan immediately. Yes, you agreed on maybe the 10th of the month, but the person could not get the money. How do you give the person respite? You will have the reward of an act of charity for each day. So each day you will get rewarded as an act of charity for delaying it. And whoever gives him respite after payment becomes due will have the reward of act of charity equal to the amount of the loan for each day. Okay, so if you understand this hadith, means if you give the person a loan, you get rewarded every day as charity, as long as the person has it. And if the time that you agreed upon has come and the person still needs more time, and you tell the person, okay, you can have it for longer, then as the hadith is, whoever gives him respite after payment becomes due will have the reward of an act of charity equal to the amount of the loan for each day. That's mentioned here. And this is, encouragement for individuals to give loans to people who are in need. You get a difference of a sadaqah and a loan. So a loan is one thing, a sadaqah is something else. And scholars have said to give loans, you get more reward than a sadaqah. And the reason for this is if you give a sadaqah, that person might still have money and you're helping the person out. The person might still have money. But if the person asks for a loan, he needs money. He's in desperate need of money, and now you're helping him out in that state. Because if you don't need, you won't ask for a loan. But if you need so much, you will ask for a loan. That's why some scholars have taken it from maybe from a hadith. Some might have been but weak hadith, but in its essence, it has a meaning that's true. That if someone comes and you give them, charity, you get rewarded. But if you give a person who needs a loan, and the person will only ask you if the person really needs that money, then you know that the reward, as scholars have said, is greater. Benefits derived from this hadith, number 8. Karamat, supernatural abilities or events for righteous, truthful, and honest Muslim individuals. I would cover this so much in many of the talks we had before, that the karamat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are, a truthful, honest, pious, and righteous person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can allow certain karamat, certain supernatural events. Some things that are miracles that will happen. I mean, this is a miracle what happened in this, story. That can happen to you as well. If you're pious, close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can grant you that as well. It's not only for the prophets, but it's even for others that come later as well. So you get something as a mu'jiza and a karama. Karama is for everyone else. Mu'jiza is only for the prophets. And of course, all of this, it's when you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through du'as, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant it to you. Benefits derived from this hadith, number 9. Take the necessary means. The one who borrowed the money did not just place the money in a piece of wood and throw it in the sea so that it may reach its owner. Rather, he exhausted all his means and went through great efforts to try to get the money to the lender. What all did he do? The first he done, he searched for a ship so that he might reach in time for the repayment of the debt, but he could not find. So he done that. Second, then tawassul. He says, no doubt I tried hard to find a ship so that I could pay the money, but could not find, so I hand over this money to you, O Allah. Tawassul. Third thing, place in a piece of wood and seal the hole. He done something else. He's trying a different angle. He's trying something else now. Placing a piece of wood, placing it in a piece of wood. Fourth, did not leave the sea shore until the wood was far into the sea. So he made sure that he's going into the sea, not that he stays on the seashore, but he made sure and he stood there. He's taking all the necessary, means. Number 5. After he threw the wood, he still kept on searching for a ship. And number 6, he brought another 1,000 gold coins to repay his debt in case the wood does not reach the person. So you have to take the necessary means. You can't just expect things to happen. But if you take the necessary means, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can allow things to happen. The means has to be there. Like we said, tawakkul and tawakkul. Tawakkul is having faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant you that, and doing the means to achieve that. But tawakkul is only having faith and not doing the means. This individual done all the means. He's not a mad person to think about this, because he done everything he should do, and then he depended on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he always depended on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he done the means as well. Benefits derived from this hadith, number 10. Dua with conviction and taking the necessary means increases the acceptance of dua. And you can see this. I mean, he done the means, he made the dua. I was once in Medina, studying Medina. My father asked me to buy a certain carpet. This is for the masjid, a certain type of carpet, and a certain pattern on the carpet. And for weeks, subhanAllah, I went to different shops, and there's many carpet shops in Saudi, Medina, to look for the certain type, certain print, everything on there. Weeks went by, and I could not find it until we reached this one factory. And I phoned home. I told my father, this is the closest I can get to the certain pattern we're looking for. And the pattern we're looking for is actually known as the Rawdah. Certain pattern is actually known as the Rawdah. And we done all what we could do, and we said, alhamdulillah, we depending on Allah, we done what all we can do, and now we leave it in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's hands, and we say we're going to now take the color closest to the carpet. And subhanallah, once I was done with the phone call, the owner of the factory said, are you looking for the specific one? Don't worry, there is actually another factory in Jeddah, and we'll get it for you. So it shows you, if you take the necessary means, then the du'as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can accept, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not burden a soul more than it can handle, as long as you take the means. Like this individual took the means, you du'as for that, whatever you're trying to gain will work, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's permission. A person wants to become rich, you work hard, you are implementing the means, and you might attain whatever you want to attain with du'as and also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So again, du'as with conviction and taking the necessary means increases the acceptance of that du'a. Benefits derived from this hadith, number 11. Exhausting the means and going through great effort should not be attempted only once, but rather continuous. Evidence: by Allah, I had been trying hard to get a ship so that I could bring you your money, but failed to get one before the one I have come by. He did not only throw that into the ocean and said, okay, I'm done with this. He's still there afterwards trying different means, different ways to get the money over. It should continue. You shouldn't just stop there and say, I try my best and it's not over. No, you try more than that. You should always keep on trying. And of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward for your efforts. I mean, never have the efforts of people be in vain. This person done all that to give over money to the person. He could say, no, I can't find a ship, that's enough. No, even further, he looked for a piece of wood. I mean, Allah's rewarding him for that. Then afterwards, he's still going. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rewarding him for that because he's keeping to his promise. So the more effort you put into it, the more reward you will get at the end of the day. Benefits derived from this hadith number 12. The mercy of Allah to accept the dua of the borrower to allow the wood with money to reach the lender in a piece of wood thrown into the sea. The sea is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like we mentioned before, there are so much variables that had to go, in the correct way in order for that wood to actually to reach that individual, the lender. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and your Lord says, call upon me and I will answer. I mean, you just call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer. And this you should always remember, whenever you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can grant you that. I mean, certain things you think is impossible, Allah can grant you those things. I mean, the person, depending on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but for us, we will think that this is something that is highly, unlikely to happen. I mean, the waves have to flow a certain direction. The wood shouldn't fall onto the ocean floor. It should float all the time. No one should take it on the way, and the person should actually leave the house a certain time, a certain day, certain hour, for him to actually pick up. Who gave that inspiration to that guy, to that lender, to actually to go out that day? It's Allah. To actually to pick up that wood, it's Allah. And so if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything go into place, even though everything is impossible, if you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it can happen, like this individual who asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Benefits derived from this hadith number 13. The one that lends you money might be in need of the money at the time of the payment. This should always be kept in mind. This should always be kept in mind to help in hastening to repay debt at the time agreed upon. So you should always know about, if I don't give this person the money, that person might be in need of the money. And we think that because this person might be rich, I don't need to give the money in time. That person might have other debts to pay. And the person maybe made agreements with others that I'll pay you on a certain date when I get the money in from the person that owes me money. So it's very important to always remember these things. You can't just assume that the person did not need this. I mean, you can find out in the hadith, one day the lender came out of his house to see whether a ship had arrived bringing his money. He needed his money, so that actually took him all the way out of his house just to see if the ship has arrived for his money. And we should not just take people's money and not give it to them and just assume certain things. The person might be how rich. It is right to have his money. So you can't, just assume and just expect people, to be okay with not, giving the money on time. Very important to note that. Benefits derived from this hadith number 14. Being conscious of Allah makes matters easy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, and whoever fears Allah, He will make for him of his matter ease. I mean, if anything is difficult, you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah makes things easy for you. Even if the lender got his money on time after agreeing that Allah should be the witness and surety. I mean, he had that conviction, he was conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He had faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him that. We can look at even at the borrower. The borrower, he was conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did not, just not give the person the money, not look for means, but he tried all what he could to try to get the money to that person on time. And then because of him being conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, trying to do what he should do by, fulfilling his promise and trust, again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it easy for him. The money came to that individual. Benefits derived from this hadith number 15, the permissibility of traveling by sea along with property of people and trade. So we take from this, it's allowed, to go on oceans and travel people's property and money. Meaning, somebody loans you money, you can leave with the money. You don't need to stay in the same country. You can go somewhere else with the money. Just make sure that you come back and to give the person the money at the same time. So it's allowed for you to leave with other people's money, but of course you have to make sure to bring it back on time, and of course tell the person you'll be leaving, like the person knew that this person's going on a travel for job or whatever it might be, and to trade as well on the ocean and so forth, and to do businesses. Okay. And the benefits derived from this hadith, the last benefit, the permissibility of telling about the wonderful events that occurred in Banu Israel. SubhanAllah, many of the stories we are mentioning so far happening in Banu Israel and the like, so that people might take benefit. Like we're taking benefit today, so it's permissible to speak about stories that happened in the past. But of course, she speaks about truthful stories. She should make things up. So if you have any story that this speaks about Banu Israel, but if you have any other stories what happened in the past, which is truthful, you can relate to others. I mean, there's no problem doing so if there's any benefit in there. We spoke about this as well when we spoke about the leper and the bald man and the blind man. We spoke about it was a story that happened in time period, but it benefited other people to note about being showing gratitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah, that is the end of the benefits. And if there's any questions, it's just one question I would like to answer. That is the question someone asked me last week about the qadr, the qada and qadr. Can it be changed with dua? And I've done some research, and just to explain it in a very simplistic fashion and way, again, is that when we speak about the Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet, that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written down. It will happen from the beginning till the end. So everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the pen and he said, right, so whatever will happen in the beginning of the world to the end of the world, that will be written on the Lawh al-Mahfuz. So everything that will happen on this world, it will be written on the Lawh al-Mahfuz. It is the preserved tablet. But then you find in the hadith, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَيَمْحُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wipes out whatever he wants. وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِنْدَهُ الْكِتَابِ. And he establishes whatever he wants. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the mother of all books, the preserved tablet. So we're saying that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote down everything that will happen, but yet he can wipe out. We answer this by saying that the Lawh al-Mahfuz, the preserved tablet, has the results of everything that will happen. But as we know, we spoke about, Nisf Sha'ban, we had Nisf Sha'ban, and we said that is the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down all the decrees. Some people differ, is it Laylatul Qadr, is it Nisf Sha'ban, and so forth. Be it as it may, the angels, every year they get, their scrolls of what will happen. So let's say a person has to live until 60 years old. So in these scrolls, they say the person has to live until 60. But the person made dua and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a long life. And now he lives till 70. So what happens? That scroll, on that scroll, it said that this person made dua and therefore he lives until 70. So the dua changed the scroll of the angels. So the angel that had to take your life, he's changed his scroll now from 60 to 70. Either it being the person gave sadaqah, that's why it changed. Either it being made dua, it changed. Okay. So you'll find that the scrolls, whatever have to happen, will happen. So in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, it is said, in the preserved tablet, this person will make dua, and therefore his lifespan will increase until 70. So the result of whatever will happen to you is in the Lawh al-Mahfuz, but your dua can change what will happen when you're speaking about the scrolls of the Malaika. The Malaika, they are given commandments what they should do, throughout the year. That can change. So the qada we're speaking about is the conditional qada, which is found in the scrolls of the angels. And when it comes to the scroll, when it comes to the Lawh al-Mahfuz, there's a saying that goes, Allahu a'lam ma kana wa ma sayakun wa ma lam yakun kayfa kana law kana yakun. Allah knows what happened and what will happen. And if it did not happen, how it will happen if it happened. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Lawh al-Mahfuz knows exactly what you will choose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that you will actually make dua and you will now change the qada of what had to happen to you. It will change. And that's really written in the Lawh al-Mahfuz. But that is when you speak about that the dua can change, it's known as conditional. Qada, predestination is conditional because if you make dua, it can change the condition you are in. This is because of the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. لا يرد قضاء إلا بالدعاء. That qada, predestination cannot be changed except with dua. And in another hadith, it's mentioned that dua and qada, they wrestle. What does it mean here by wrestling? It means that if there's a qada, if something had to happen to you, when he spoke about this, he spoke about bala, he spoke about kind of trials and calamities. So this trial actually have to descend, and you make a dua, and so your dua ascends. And now you make dua that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should not make you poor. The qada says you have to become poor, and they will actually wrestle with each other. And the one that wins, that will happen. So if the dua wins, you'll become rich. If the qada wins, and then this is hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you become poor, or it will be that you'll be less poor because the qada, your dua actually helped you out there. And this is the reason why man lam yas'alillah yaghdab alayhi, who did not ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's anger is on them. And this is very important to make a lot of dua, because if you make dua, that will change the situation. Make as much dua as possible. Whatever you do, make dua. Then if certain things had to happen, it will not happen. It's like the du'as we have the daily du'as to protect you from calamities, protect you from certain things. If you make that du'a, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you, but you have now the qada, predestination comes down, and your du'a will now go with that qada, and they will now compete. And the one who wins, that it will what will happen. And this is just something I wanted to clear up, that the Lawh al-Mahfuz, the result of whatever will happen is in there. Then we have the scrolls of the malaika. They will write down if you make dua, if things should change. And they get the commandments every year of what will happen throughout the year. That's the reason why I make the dua on Nisf Sha'ban and so forth. So I just wanted to mention that, just to clear that up. And I hope that answers some of the questions, inshallah. I see the question asked. Let me just look at the question. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Okay, the question you ask, if we are supposed to have full conviction that Allah is the best of planners, then is it still okay for us to make dua for Allah to change our destiny according to our own desires and fears? Or must we just allow life to unfold itself? No, you can't just allow life to just unfold itself. You have to make that means, you have to make that effort for something to happen to you. Like you mentioned in the story, he made a dua, he made the means for something to happen. In this world, we have cause and effect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the best from us. But you have to work towards getting the best from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you want Jannah, you have to work towards that. If you want the best in this world, Allah will grant you that if you work towards that. So Allah, yes, He wants the best from us if we work towards that. If you make dua for the best, Allah will give the best out of the dua. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows that the calamity has to befall, Allah will grant that the calamity overpowers over the dua, and the best will be given to you. But you have to make that effort. You have to take the means in order for you to get the best out of this world. You can't just lay back and everything unfolds. That's known as tawakkul. You're asking Allah without making that effort. So you have to make that effort. And one of the effort is actually dua as well. To make dua for certain things that is out of your control. If you to acquire wealth, you can go out and you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you. But there's certain things out of your control, like for example, like sickness or something, you take all the means, but you still get sick somehow. You're taking the means and still get sick. So you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm taking the means, but things that is out of my control, you should help me. Help me to overcome, help me to get the means, help me for me able to do those things that is pleasing to you. So we should not just let life unfold, but yet you have to take the means. Very important. So we have full conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. But we shouldn't just sit there and say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best of planners. We should work towards that. If you want Jannah, you have to work towards Jannah. If you want whatever you want in this world, you have to work towards that. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of course, will make things easy for you to attain that. I hope that answers the question there. Is there any other questions?
Sheikh, perhaps I can also ask a question. Something that I've been trying to unpack is the concept of the qalb, the heart. And obviously, in health sciences, we are exposed to the physical heart, anatomy, and the physiology, and we sort of dissect it on a microscopic, nanoscopic level in various ways. But from the Islamic perspective, we also speak about the heart, and we say things like we want to purify the heart, we want to make our hearts more aligned towards forgiveness and honesty and decency. So it's almost as if we've got a physical heart and we've got a spiritual heart. And my question is, are the two connected in some way? Like, is the spiritual heart superimposed on the physical heart, or are they separate entities? And of course, like, for example, when Jibril came and he removed the heart of the Prophet ﷺ, and he cleaned it, and so that was almost like a purification in a way. So that to me seems that there is some connection, that if they're removing the physical heart and they're cleaning it, and that is cleaning the spiritual heart, that there seems to be a connection between the two. I just wanted to know if Sheikh could maybe share your thoughts on that.
When it comes to the world of the unseen, there's not much you can speak about it. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed to happen, will happen, or should not happen, should not happen. When it comes to the heart, I know there was a study done whereby there were individuals that has heart transplant done upon them, and they were recipients of different hearts, and they studied these individuals. They studied the donor and they studied the recipient, and they found out that the qualities that the donor had actually manifested in the recipient. So some scholars have actually said that this is known as a way to say that in the heart, even though we can't see it, but there's a certain element attached to it which actually allows the heart to think, and allows the heart to able to manifest in a way that will actually be apparent by the person. And you'll find out that we find that the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he cut out his when Jibril came and took out his heart and took out something out of his heart, and he said this is a bit of, and that, subhanallah, shows you that the heart itself, it might be something in the heart that actually changes you. So we know the hadith that says that if a person sins, the heart is black. We can't see it, but spiritually it might be that the heart is actually in black, and the heart might affect the body itself because of the way the heart actually goes about pumping blood throughout the whole body. So when they speak even about the ayah of nur, the ayah of light, you'll find that scholars mention that the heart, Allah nuru samawati wal ard, and gives a parable of the heart. they mention that this is actually a parable of the heart when we're speaking about that ayah. And we see that, subhanAllah, that if you take modern science, you actually can see that there's a type of connection between the heart as well as the spiritual heart and the physical heart. We can't say where it is, we can't say how it works, but we can say that there is something between the two, like a soul. We don't know what happens, how a soul works. We just know that the soul goes into our body and make us who we are. But once the soul is gone, we can't place the soul back in. Except if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives that permission for that to happen. That part where the soul goes out, we don't know. The soul just goes away and the body is dead. We can't do anything after that. Likewise, the heart, we know that is a physical heart, but there's something attached to it that actually, manifests in the person. And that's the reason why the study has been done. We've either took the donors and they took the recipients, they studied them, and they found out that the qualities that the donor had is actually found in the recipient. The donor might have been a very quiet person, or might have been a very loud person or very active person, and the recipient might have been a very quiet person and a very less active. And once the heart actually went into the recipient, he became more active and more loud, and the same qualities was displayed. And this shows you that there might be a kind of a link, but the link we do not know. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ وَالرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي. And when it was asked in the Quran, they asked about the ruh, say that is a matter from the matters of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, of your Lord, and he did not give a lot of knowledge about the ruh. So we don't know if the ruh is in the heart, if the ruh is in the body, is in the brain. We don't know that. But all we know that there's a spiritual heart, and the spiritual heart can affect the body. And that's the reason why in the Hadith the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, verily, in the body there is a flesh. If this flesh is pure, it makes the whole body pure. Meaning, if this flesh is right, it makes the whole body right. And if this flesh is not pure, it makes the whole body not pure. And at the end of the Hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that it is the heart. And so we take from that if the heart, the spiritual side of the heart, if that part is not pure, then you will see it actually manifest in your actions. You'll see a person who is an evil person might have an evil heart, and it will actually manifest in his action. The person will be evil. So you can actually see what's in someone's heart by looking at the actions. But we don't know if it's the physical heart or the spiritual heart. This is knowledge we weren't given to us. But all we can say that because of all the narrations, it seems like the physical heart plays a certain role, because the Prophet ﷺ, his chest was open and his heart was clean. And because of this, we say that the physical heart might play a certain role, but we don't know more than what was given by the Sharia of us, because this is the matters of the unseen. But what we take from this is that the heart is there, and we should try our utmost to keep it pure. And if we keep it pure, that will now manifest in our actions as well, and we'll see that we'll become purer people. I don't know if I answered the question, but this is something that the scholars have spoken about, and this is just some of the knowledge I have about on it. I'll try to find a bit more on this issue, but that's what I can answer now. I hope that gives you some understanding, inshallah.
Shukran, Sheikh.
Is there any other questions before we close? If there's no other questions, inshallah, I'll hand it over to Ilyas, inshallah. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Just to say again, Jazakallah khairan to Sheikh Khalid for a really insightful talk. I've benefited from it greatly, and I'm sure you have too. Unfortunately, there were some audio issues at the start, but we'll inshallah fix that for next week. And yes, of course, this is the month of Ramadan. It's a time of spiritual reflection. It's a time of us trying to become closer to Allah in whatever way we can. I came across a really nice lecture by Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad, who was a great Islamic scholar, and he mentions that one of the great challenges is that we often think that dhikr is confined to a particular time or place, and we've almost made it so mechanic that we think that dhikr is maybe on a Thursday night at this time and sitting, and even those things are beneficial. Ideally, we need to realize that dhikr is always something that we have to do in whatever moment we have, whether it's driving to campus, whether it's walking around your house, whether it's before you go to bed. And Allah mentions this in the Quran, in Surah Imran. So especially in the times that we're living, where these are unique times, even though the normal institutional organizations like the Jummah and these formalized events are no longer happening, we still have to remember that we have to remember Allah. And even though these events are not happening, we have to retain that consciousness. So inshallah, Allah grants all of us that, and all of those who are sick, Allah grant them shifa. All those who have passed away in this month especially, Allah grant them Jannah. All those who are looking for guidance, Allah give them that guidance. And inshallah, we will see all of you next week. Barakallahu feekum wa afu minkum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.